Intelligent design is not creationism. Atheists sometimes claim that intelligent design is just creationism. In reality, they are not the same. They are fundamentally different in their approaches, methodologies, and underlying assumptions. Understanding why intelligent design is not the same as creationism is essential for a clear and accurate discussion of each idea's place within scientific and philosophical discourse. Defining intelligent design. Intelligent design is a scientific theory that posits that certain features of the universe and living organisms are best explained by an intelligent cause, rather than by an undirected process such as natural selection. ID theorists argue that the complexity observed in biological systems, the fine-tuning of physical constants in the universe, and the information content in DNA indicate that these aspects are products of deliberate design rather than chance or necessity alone. Importantly, intelligent design does not specify the identity of the designer, nor does it make claims about the designer's nature, motivations, or methods. Instead, it focuses on identifying patterns in nature that are best explained by an intelligent cause, using tools from information theory, molecular biology, and the study of complex systems. This approach allows ID to remain within the domain of scientific inquiry, relying on empirical evidence and logical reasoning rather than religious doctrine. Defining creationism. Creationism, on the other hand, is a religious belief that asserts that the universe and all life within it were created by a specific deity, as described in specific religious texts. Creationism often includes a literal interpretation of these texts, such as the belief that the Earth is only a few thousand years old, young Earth creationism, or that all species were created in their present form and have not undergone significant evolutionary change. Some forms of creationism are inherently tied to religious teachings and are often motivated by a desire to uphold specific theological views. Such creationism relies on faith in religious authority rather than on empirical evidence and is sometimes, though not always, protected from scientific testing or falsification, by secondary protective hypotheses that protect the core hypothesis from falsification. This distinguishes it from scientific theories, which must be open to testing, revision, and potential refutation based on new evidence. Caveat. By this definition above, however, naturalistic mega-evolution is not science either. That is because the core hypotheses of naturalistic mega-evolution are themselves protected from scientific testing or falsification, by secondary protective hypotheses that protect the core hypothesis from falsification. These core hypotheses are naturalistic universal common descent, naturalistic universally consilient nested hierarchy, naturalistic universally consilient single tree of life, gradualism, the creative power of random chance for mega-evolution, the creative power of natural selection for mega-evolution. All of these have been falsified, prima facie, by the scientific evidence. Many scientists recognize this, and are abandoning neo-Darwinism and its offspring. However, dogmatic atheists hold on to neo-Darwinism and its offspring, by avoiding the scientific evidence that falsifies those core hypotheses. They do this by invoking faith-based secondary rationalizations, or hypotheses, to avoid the falsifying inferences that arise from the prima facie evidence that contradicts the core hypotheses of naturalistic mega-evolution. Key differences between intelligent design and creationism. 1. Methodology and approach. Intelligent design. ID uses the scientific method to investigate and infer design in nature. It formulates hypotheses, makes predictions, and seeks empirical evidence to support or refute those hypotheses. For example, ID theorists may study the complexity of molecular machines within cells or the information content in DNA to determine whether these features are more likely the result of design or natural processes. Creationism. Creationism does not follow the scientific method in the same way. It begins with a set of religious beliefs and interprets scientific evidence in light of those beliefs. Creationism may reject scientific findings that contradict its interpretation of religious texts, such as the evidence for an ancient Earth. Caveat. Naturalistic mega-evolution, similarly, does not follow the scientific method in the same way. It begins with a set of metaphysical beliefs and interprets scientific evidence in light of those beliefs. Naturalistic mega-evolution rejects scientific findings that contradict its core hypotheses, such as evidence that falsify naturalistic universal common descent, naturalistic universally consilient nested hierarchy, naturalistic universally consilient single tree of life, gradualism, the creative power of random chance for mega-evolution, the creative power of natural selection for mega-evolution.
2. The role of religion, intelligent design. ID is not based on religious texts or doctrines.
While it may have philosophical or theological implications, it does not rely on any particular religious belief. ID theorists explicitly avoid making claims about the identity of the designer, because the evidence for intelligent design is independent of the evidence for any specific designer.
Creationism.
Creationism can be explicitly religious. It can be rooted in specific interpretations of specific religious texts. There is nothing wrong with that, and doing that by itself does not make the doctrine non-scientific, as long as the doctrine is open to being tested and falsified by evidence.
3. Flexibility and falsifiability, intelligent design. As a scientific theory, ID is open to testing and falsification.
For example, if we prove that there is no irreducible complexity or complex specified functional information in the biosphere, that would remove any evidence for ID in the biosphere.
Creationism.
Some forms of creationism are sometimes not falsifiable because they are based on religious conviction.
Even when evidence contradicts a creationist view, adherents may reinterpret or dismiss the evidence to maintain their religious beliefs.
This lack of falsifiability can place some forms of creationism outside the realm of science, which requires that theories be testable and subject to revision based on new evidence.
Caveat.
Naturalistic mega-evolution is not falsifiable because it is based on dogmatic metaphysical conviction.
Even when evidence contradicts a mega-evolutionary view, adherents may reinterpret or dismiss the evidence to maintain their dogmatic beliefs.
This lack of falsifiability places naturalistic mega-evolution outside the realm of science, which requires that theories be testable and subject to revision based on new evidence.
4. Scientific engagement, intelligent design. ID actively engages with scientific data and theories.
ID theorists publish in scientific journals, participate in academic conferences, and propose specific research programs to investigate their claims. The goal of ID is to contribute to scientific understanding by exploring the possibility that some aspects of nature are best explained by design.
Creationism.
Some creationists may oppose mainstream scientific views, particularly those related to the age of the Earth and cosmology. There is nothing wrong with that, as long as such creationists can provide valid scientific reasons and evidence to challenge the mainstream views, which can often be wrong.
Conclusion. Intelligent design and creationism are not the same thing.
They are fundamentally different in their approaches, methodologies, and goals. Intelligent design is a scientific theory that seeks to explain certain features of the natural world through the inference of an intelligent cause, based on empirical evidence and scientific reasoning. It does not rely on religious texts or doctrines, nor does it make specific claims about the identity of the designer. Creationism, on the other hand, is typically a religious belief system that often interprets scientific evidence through the lens of specific religious teachings. There is nothing wrong with that as long as the specific creationist can provide scientific evidence to support his view.
Caveat.
Naturalistic mega-evolution, on the other hand, is also a religious, i.e., metaphysical, belief system that often interprets scientific evidence through the lens of specific dogmatic and metaphysical teachings, as we have discussed in various videos. Understanding these differences is crucial for a fair and accurate discussion of these ideas, allowing each to be considered on its own merits within the appropriate contexts of science, religion, and metaphysics. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment below if you agree or would like to add your thoughts.